Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of the Chasing Goals podcast. You're here with Nugget, as always. Super excited about today's episode. We've got Delaney here. How are we going today, Delaney?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Just cruising here in Melbourne, and good to have you. I was just kind of thinking how good having Zoom and internet. We can chat. You're all the way in Pennsylvania, so did you want to maybe give a little background on kind of your story and then kind of what you're kind of doing now?
Yeah, so I've been working out for 4 years now. Been doing social media for almost 4 years. I started all this because I got a back concussion from ice hockey. Ended up having to get brain surgery for something else they found in my head. It's called a Chiari malformation 1. And honestly, the doctors told me I couldn't play sports, all this stuff. They told me I couldn't even jump on a trampoline again, all this kind of stuff. So I kind of wanted to prove them wrong, prove everyone wrong. So I started working out, and now it's turned into my passion, working out. And I just did a bodybuilding show 2 weeks ago now, I think it is, or a week ago.
Yep.
And I placed first in true novice, first in open class, and placed for nationals. So yeah.
It's crazy. Congratulations on the placing and that sort of stuff. So what kind of, was it when you were a little bit younger yet? So you had the head concussion?
Yeah, so I was 13 years old.
13?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then so they went to like have a look at your brain, they found something else, and then that's crazy. What was going through your mind kind of at that stage?
Honestly, it was like a lot because I thought it was kind of cool that I can skip out in school. I was so young, that it didn't affect me to an extent. But now I'm going through all these years, and it still affects me. And it used to I don't know, suck a lot, but now that it's it helped me become the person I am today.
Sure.
And without experiences and what I went through, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like doing social media, working out, I'd be a completely different person. So I'm glad I went through all that. But I definitely wasn't happy with what happened.
Yeah.
And now I wouldn't take anything back.
Yeah. No, that's good. One of those things, I guess, that's kind of altered your kind of maybe where you were going, but it's kind of put you on maybe where you needed to be, or however kind of played out. But what do you still kind of suffer any sort of kind of, I'm not sure what maybe like foggy head or whatever it is, like with the concussions and everything else?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I still basically have a concussion, being almost 8 years later. It's called a traumatic brain injury. So I still go through a lot of things, and almost like I'm a medical mystery to doctors. So I still go to doctors, and they're like, yeah, we honestly are very interested in your case, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of things go on with me still, but I wouldn't be where I am today without all this happening. So I don't really mind. So
yeah, no, that's crazy. But what kind of was it about maybe like getting into the fitness and that sort of stuff? What that kind of stuck with you in the fact where you're like, oh, I love doing this. I want to do this all the time. What kind of was it the feeling you got, or like the people you met? What was it?
yeah, so how I started all this was because people told me, oh my gosh, you look crazy. So before I even started lifting, people thought I lift.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Next, I guess. So then that kind of what's got me into lifting was the mental health side of it, and sharing my story and all that kind of stuff. So that's what kept me with it, is sharing my story on social media, and keeping with working out. It helps me mentally so much. I didn't even start working out because of the physical aspect and building muscle, all that kind of stuff, because I already thought I was already happy with how I looked.
Yeah.
So it just was more for the mental side. And then building muscle came with it. I was, a secondary thing. So it's cool that I can build muscle and stay happy, So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I had another chat it might have been the last chat, the one before, and we just talked about the importance of not only, I guess, the physical side of like working out and that sort of stuff, but how much it does for your mental state and how good you can feel just by, going to the gym for an hour a day or whatever it is, or doing something you love for like something. It doesn't even have to go on the gym. Doing something active for like that hour a day or whatever, or 40 minutes a day or whatever it is, how good it can make you feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like I notice if I don't go to the gym for 2 or 3 days, I just feel sluggish and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
How I feel.
And then I guess once you were in the gym and that sort of stuff, when did you start thinking, okay, let's go from, I'm just going to the gym, whatever, to let's like crank it up. I want to start doing shows. When did that transition kind of occur for you?
So I just did my first show, a week ago. So
That was your first one.
yeah, that was my first one. So
Oh,
I didn't think about doing it till maybe 3.5 years in. It's always been a thought in my mind, but I was like, if I'm gonna do a show, I'm gonna be my best. I'm gonna take it like very seriously, and I'm gonna get everything I need done. Like get a coach for posing, get a coach for diet, all this kind of stuff. Take it very seriously. So that's what I did. I ended up winning, the show and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I wanted to do. Take it seriously.
Yeah, it's all. Congrats on winning. That's awesome. You looked crazy. I was going through your Instagram for you, like unbelievable. Do you know like kind of what body fat percentage? You had about 15 abs. I was looking at one stage.
So I was in LA a year and a half ago, I guess it was now. I was 16% body fat and I was very shredded.
Yeah.
So I think naturally shredded at a higher body fat. But I think for this body fat, I was probably 12% body fat. I was the most lean I've ever been and the biggest I've been, So, and I felt the side effects of being very lean. Like I just felt horrible.
Yeah, I could imagine getting that lean. Like, you wouldn't feel you wouldn't feel too great. Can we maybe touch on what you kind of mentioned there, that you were so lean, but also like you were the biggest you've been. What did that training kind of? Obviously, we might even get into like what you were kind of eating, that sort of stuff. But first, maybe how did you kind of train for this prep? Like, how long was the lead in? Yeah.
Yeah, so I prepped cutting for 9 weeks. I did cutting for 9 weeks, and my off season, I tried to do more of an off season like bulking, but I didn't really have a coach for that, so it was more like myself trying to bulk. It wasn't very serious, I would say, but you know, it was more like I had a coach for cutting and that kind of stuff. So my cutting was serious, and like my off season, I didn't really have an off season. It was just me like eating kind of like, on a meal plan, but nothing like crazy. So my cut was definitely very measured out and with a coach and all that kind of stuff. So it was 9 weeks of that. And my training was it was like 6 days of cardio, 60 minutes by the end of it. It was pretty serious. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So you were doing on like that 9 weeks with your training. So you're obviously doing cardio. Like was it? So you're doing cardio 6 days a week.
Yeah. By the end of it, like the
last little bit.
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I was doing a lot of cardio.
Yeah, and are you still doing? Obviously, are you still doing weights at that stage as well? What was that kind of split and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I was doing weights. I honestly can't really remember like the whole split for that. I'm still doing like the split, but it's nothing like special. I mean, it is special, but like it's just whatever works for me because different splits. So right now I'm doing 5 days a week of cardio and 50 minutes. So still reverse diet. I'm trying to reverse diet. It's definitely been hard though. So
do you want to maybe take everyone through what like a reverse diet is once you're coming out of the comp?
Yeah, so it's going backwards in your diet. So it is slowly increasing your calories. So instead of like, it's kind of hard for me to explain.
Yeah, So rather than just going like, yeah, so let's say you were eating, let's say whatever it was, you're cutting at 2,000, you just don't go back to like 3,500 straight away. Is that kind of what it is? You slowly get back to.
Yep, it's just backwards. It's going backwards in your cut, so it's working back in your cut. So maybe in your cut you start at 3,000, you work your way down to 1,900. So then you start at 1,900, and then you go up to 2,000, 2,200. You just go in reverse.
Slowly getting out of it. Yeah, awesome. And then I guess during your cut, how far like under do you get at some? How do you realize where your maintenance is, and then how much you're going to cut each week? Like how many calories or each day?
So my coach does all this, and he put me at like 2,600 calories to try to figure out my maintenance.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know the whole process of it because he did it for me, but he put me at the highest amount of calories was 2,600. And then he found my maintenance from there, kind of like decreasing it and seeing where I, would start gaining weight. So 2,600 was my highest, and then he just started decreasing from there. But yeah, so that's basically what he did. I don't know the whole process of it. But
yeah, no, for sure. And then do you know what kind of splits in regards to kind of like food and that sort of thing you were like, as in like your macros? Did you have like a breakdown of or is it just like a rough ballpark of what you need to hit?
So he didn't tell me. I think just so he didn't tell me my calorie range, all that kind of stuff. I think it was more so like mentally. I asked him how much was the most I was eating, because literally it was so hard to eat it. Like at one point I did puke up my food. Like I was eating so much food,
Yeah, okay.
So how much was I eating at that point? Because it was so hard to like find time to eat the food. And oh my God, it was horrible. It was really bad.
So with that, is it kind of like he kind of gives you, or she kind of gives you the meal plan, so you don't get it's like Monday morning breakfast, Monday afternoon. Is that kind of how it is? Like each meal's.
He makes the whole meal plan, and I just follow that.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you prep your meal every day, or is it like do you do it a week in advance? What kind of worked for you?
On a Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. That's great. And then what is your kind of plans, I guess, moving forward? Is there like other shows or something different? What's your thoughts moving forward, and what are you looking at doing?
So since I qualified for nationals, I think the national show, you have 2 years, so you have to till it expires almost, and then you have to requalify. So I'm gonna wait a year to do the show, and I think that's gonna be like December of next year that the show is. So I'm gonna build up in size, do a bulk, then cut for the show, and do that show. Try to come in like a little bigger, but and find my training for sure. I want to build up my legs and try to build up my back and that kind of thing, and shoulders. So
yeah, awesome. And with your training and that sort of stuff, do you have a coach as well? Or is that you who kind of do you write your own programs, or do you have a coach that does that?
So yeah, my diet coach, he'll write my program, so he'll do that for me.
Yeah, awesome. How good. And then I guess maybe did you want to kind of move to your social media? I know I looked at, you've got your own app and that sort of stuff, but how did you kind of grow your social media and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I guess it was like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, that Reels came out, and I started posting Reels, being more consistent with posting on social media. And I found that Reels is very, it's a good way to blow up kind of a thing. So I took advantage of that. And I started gaining a lot of followers. So December of, I want to say it was like last year. I hit 10 followers, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago, I hit 10K followers. And then all of a sudden I started blowing up. So last year I had like 40K followers, and now I'm at 100K. So I find that Reels and posting like one reel today, like I post a reel today, then the next day I post like a regular post, then reel post, reel post. So I kind of found like a way to work with the algorithm, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, awesome. Because it's going really. It looks like it's going really well, and you like content's great and all that sort of stuff. What's kind of the plan? Is the content there for the app as well? Is the goal to get people on the app, or is the goal just to kind of inspire people? Yeah,
So I just started a like coaching, an online coaching thing. So the app is there, for like workouts and stuff like that. I'm not promoting that as much,
yeah,
but my thing is more for like online coaching, offering like nutrition plans and workout programs. So that's more what I'm headed towards right now.
yeah,
But the app is a good way to like if you just want a taste of like my workout programs and stuff like that. So that's a good thing if you just want that. But yeah, I like the app. That's super cool. And yeah, so that's the app's pretty cool though. But yeah.
yeah, and then that's pretty much like just kind of a look into what you're kind of what you're doing, or what similar is it similar sort of things to what you're doing, or just kind of different, like people can go and see different things, like cardio, weights, all that sort of stuff.
So there is a section where what I do, and then there is like different things, like different splits. Ab workouts that I would do when I first started. I don't train abs anymore because I get a start of like a hernia, so I need to figure that out.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't anymore. But yeah, there's like ab workouts, leg workouts, different splits and that kind of thing. So it is a cool app to look at.
Yeah, awesome. And I think that's a kind of one of the things, is especially for people that kind of are looking at your content and that's what, and if they're new to training and that sort of stuff, I think it's good for someone to get onto an app, someone who's done it before and they know what they're doing, so you can kind of lead them down a good path as they start. Do you think that is that something that you'd be like, yeah, like would the app be good for, like you could come on there, it's your first ever kind of, might never gone on to the gym before, but you want to start. I feel like, is that something that would be good for them?
Yeah, it's a good, like, if you don't know what to do in the gym, you're kind of walking around not knowing what to do,
Yeah.
and you're kind of thing. It shows you what you should be doing, and like it has videos of what the workout looks like and rep range and sets. So it's a good way of like knowing what to do in the gym and what things look like. So yeah, it's like if you don't know what you're doing and you need some guidance, it's definitely a good thing to have and to look at. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do you actually, I was going to ask, do you have like any advice for anyone that's kind of, looking at starting, maybe going into the bodybuilding stuff or just kind of starting up in a gym? Would you have any advice for someone like who's looking to go down that path?
Yeah, so I always say that staying consistent with it and not going into it too like crazy, like make it realistic. And diet is super important and also keep that realistic too. Like don't cut everything out that you were once used to. Keep that realistic. So if you want to start changing your diet, start implementing some healthier things. And then slowly change your diet. Don't take everything out that, like you're used to. Like maybe you want a cheat meal. So yeah, have fun with your diet and still experiment with like fun recipes and enjoy life still. So yeah, that's what I always say.
No, I reckon that's perfect. Like I was listening, Matt Fraser, the CrossFit guy. He was just talking about how he had a mate, and it was very similar to what you were saying. He had a mate that who came down. He's like, I want to start in the gym. And he's like, well, let's do like 5 days a week. Let's diet. Let's like, he was like, wasn't doing anything before this. And he was just like, no, you'll come here. We'll do 15 minutes. Then you'll go home. That's it. And then, and he's like, we'll do that twice a week. So, and then he's like, then the next week we did 3 times. Then the next week we did 4. And then we upped and then eventually he was doing 5 times a week and we got into his diet. But it wasn't that thing where because people just, I feel like people come in to the gym and they're so hyped. They're ready. They're ready to go, and they smash 5 days a week their food. But then in 2 weeks they're burnt out and they're back to doing nothing. And you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's exactly how it is. And I was gonna say something like also your body needs rest. Like some people think that they need to go hardcore with the gym like 6 to 7 days a week. No, like your body really benefits from having those rest days. So even if you're training like 4 to 5 days a week, those off days are really where you're going to be building muscle. Like your body really needs those off days to repair and build the muscle. So off days are super important. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing when you go in, you feel like when you're in the gym is when you're building muscles, but you're breaking down that muscle. It's when you're resting and eating your food or whatever. That's when you're kind of getting the benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think there's a bit of a like people think they've got to be in the gym 7 days a week. They can't. They've just done legs, and then 2 days later they still can't move, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll hit legs again." Yeah, you know what I mean. What kind of I've got a couple of little like quick hitting questions. So one of them is, if you could, what 3 people would you train with? So if you anyone in the world, you could pick 3 people to train with, who would they be?
Dang, that's hard. I always I don't know, I feel like I'm a basic person. I don't really look much at all that kind of stuff, but I guess simple basic questions, because I don't really go into all that, is Arnold, what's her name? Diana Bailey. She's very cool.
I feel like Arnold's definitely like the number one choice, I feel like.
What's the guy's name? Russell Wilson, I guess his name is, or I don't know. I have
Russell Wilson. Is he a NFL player, or what's he do?
I'm trying to think who it is. I think it's a bodybuilder. See,
Yeah.
I don't really go all that kind of stuff, So
yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's fair enough. And then there's the other little quick hitter is who have you kind of I guess, because I get early on in your training and that sort of stuff, you would have been doing your own thing and all that sort of stuff. Who are you like online and learning from, and did you learn from people, or who did you look up to, or that people could like listen to you and be like would get good advice from as well as they start their journey?
Yeah, so this is what I tell people. I never had anyone I looked up to, just because I started social media. I downloaded Instagram and started social media right when I downloaded Instagram. I downloaded Instagram when I was 16. I didn't have social media growing up. So I had no clue what the Explore page was. I had no clue what any of that stuff was. I didn't even know there was a fitness industry. So me comparing myself to other people or looking up to people, I had no clue what that was, basically. So, I just posted what I wanted to post. I posted my story. I posted that kind of stuff. So I had no clue there was a fitness industry on social media. So I just posted what I wanted, and I had no clue if I was posting good content or anything of that. I just got likes and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I didn't look up to anyone, but that's what I always say. I just try to be myself.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess with your training and stuff, did you kind of, how did you kind of fall into your training? As in, did you just go to the gym and learn from people at the gym, or did you kind of, read books or magazine? Or I guess what was that kind of, how did that help you? Yeah.
Yeah, so my dad was in the military for 28 years,
okay.
And he helped my sister and I train. So he taught us basically a lot, that, everything we knew. And I also did a lot of research on my own on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, just looked at that kind of stuff. Try to find workouts that new workouts, new exercises, that kind of stuff. And we just follow that. And then my dad would find workout routines online, and we would test them out for months at a time. And then that's how we did it. He basically taught us everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think especially now, there's so much there's so much content and so many things like YouTube, your Instagram, TikTok. You can, I guess the hardest part is just finding the people that kind of that are doing the right thing. I guess there is a lot of misinformation. So there's lots of information, but I guess the one thing would be is to try and find, like, just research people and if they're doing the right things, and you can kind of tell who's kind of giving you the right information and who's kind of giving the wrong information.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I guess for future, for your like kind of your like, is it something you really want to do? Is kind of run your own business, and like, is that kind of where you're heading in terms of like the business and the app and that sort of thing? Is that kind of the goal? Is just to kind of run your own stuff?
So that's my goal. Like, that's definitely a goal of mine, and I'm headed towards that avenue right now. Going to college to become an X-ray tech.
Yeah.
So that's right now. So I'm doing those two right now.
Yeah. And how do you manage that time? So is college? Are you at college at the moment? Like, how do you manage your college and your gym and your social media? Because I'd imagine even like just social media is you're putting in a lot of time,
Yeah. So I basically call social media like my full-time job. I also have a job. I work as a physical therapist aide. And then I did take this semester off for school because I was doing my bodybuilding show. I have to work and I also have to manage, my social media. So I don't want to like half-ass one of my things. So I took, a semester off of school. I'll start back up on, spring. But yeah, it's definitely sometimes a struggle to manage all that stuff. But I can get it done, and I have to schedule my time well, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it's just about making sure everything's kind of scheduled out and you kind of know when and when you go to the gym, are you working out with like friends and stuff, or are you more just there by yourself getting things done? How do you kind of structure your gym kind of sessions?
Yeah, so some days I'll work out with my friends, and then some days I'll work out by myself. I find working out with friends helps me a lot. They push me on all that kind of stuff. So I prefer working out with friends that are like-minded.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree. Like, it's sometimes I don't mind working out by myself, but I try to get. I've just got a gym under the studio here, and I just find it. Yeah, I feel like the energy's a little bit better when you have someone there to kind of, you just kind of pushing each other, and you're at the gym, but you're not kind of thinking about working out the whole time. You're just chatting away, talking about life or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you're getting that extra push from someone. If that you're not feeling like doing that last rep, but that person there might get you, even two more.
That's why I like it. That's why I like it.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that was good. Did you have anything you kind of else you wanted to touch on in regards to like what you think people would like to know, or in regards to your training, or diet, or whatever it was? Do you have anything else you wanted to touch on in regards to that?
So let me think. I've been doing all this for 4 years now, and I've been through a lot with all this kind of stuff, like, brain surgery, concussion, and, a lot of people, get this, let me think what the word is, get like put down how their social media isn't doing well, or all this kind of stuff. And what I always say is, everything worthwhile always takes time. And I just want to say that because, social media is kind of like the new thing. Yeah. And I feel like people should give it a try. And definitely, like, everything worthwhile takes time. So definitely stick with it and just stay consistent and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like the common thing is like what keeps coming up during these podcasts and that sort of stuff is like, whether it's training or whether it's social media, it's just showing up day after day. The consistency kind of outweighs anything. There's no special, 3-4 week thing that's going to make you shredded or make you improve it. It's just about, or like, grow your followers or whatever it is. It's just about showing up, and then the more like kind of reps you put in day after day seems to be like where people have seen their best results. Is that something you'd agree? Yeah, awesome. And then I guess I always ask our guests on the show, and that's how we got you on, is who do you think would be good, like a good guest for the podcast? But then the other thing to that is you have to try and get them on for us.
I got you. Mark Martinez.
Mark Martinez.
Yep, Martinez. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll message him. Sure. He's a great person to talk to.
Yeah, awesome. It's kind of, and that's why we do it. I saw a few a podcast do this, and I guess early on in podcasts we're kind of growing now, but early on it's hard to get people on. That's kind of why we do this. But awesome, yeah. Mark Martinez, looking forward to having him on. And I guess before we kind of it's been a great chat. It's kind of, your story's awesome, and I feel like people are going to take a lot away from it. Did you have any final kind of message before we kind of head off?
I do not, but keep killing it. I don't know. That's it.
Yeah. No. Oh, and I guess, do you have, just before we head off, do you have any? What are do you do, like, is it just Instagram? Are you on TikTok and YouTube and that sort of stuff? Where can people find you? Obviously, I'll put the links down, but where can they find you as well?
Yeah, so TikTok is Delaney Fitness. Instagram is Delaney J Fit, and then YouTube is Delaney Fit. I'm pretty sure everything's different because things are taken. So yeah.
Yeah, everyone's taking your name. No, but also I'll tag, so for everyone who's listening, I'll put those down in the description on the Spotify and the wherever you get your podcasts and YouTubes and that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to chat and talk about everything you're doing, and we'll see everyone on the next show. See you later.